I'm not. This is the first time using her, so what's going on, boys and girls, children of all ages? Hammerhead Garage, and tonight we're
Sean
talking
here
to my
from this
buddy,
guy's garage.
this guy's garage.
So how you doing
Yeah,
tonight?
the two Seans, as they call us.
The Sean and
Not
Sean.
too
Yeah,
bad,
Sean
man.
and Sean.
Not too bad at all. Sean and Sean
braving
show,
the
yeah.
weather.
No, not too
Yeah.
bad at all.
We both got
yeah.
James Snow.
No, they all know because, like I said, I put that video out there and told them about what's been happening over here. And you guys don't know, Sean lives, well, I guess he lives northeast of me up in Cape Breton. And,
up the other end of the
he's about 4 hours away. So, the other end, yeah. So they're used to weather and snowy conditions up there as well. So.
I tell you, I
any folks here, Sean, who you are, what's your channel about, and
my channel's mostly about maybe the odd fix that it's I don't really call them how-tos, but like, you know, it's how I do. So hey, Joe Canadian, nice to see you. And you know, there's projects that I have on the go. So look, got that drag car project on the go right now, and got my old Cougar that I play with and take to the drag.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's, I call that the sleeper car. That thing's got a supercharged 4.6 in it, and
it's a 79.
It's a 78, I believe. I really haven't got any paperwork for it because it was just a rolling shell when I got it. Ford 9-inch with a ladder bar. It had a 383 and it run in the low 10 area. Back when the car was on the track about 10 or 12 years ago. So I put a 502 in it. So that motor, when it was dynoed the last 20 years ago, it made 600 horsepower and 600 pound-feet of torque. So that was all square, but I'm not saying it's going to make that kind of power now because I put a much smaller camshaft in it because my intent was to use that motor in my RV, but after I spent so much money getting that engine put back together, I couldn't justify putting it in an RV, so I picked up that Malibu for it. And so it's going to be a pretty strong 500 horse engine.
Oh man, I hear you.
Yeah. So, you know.
Oh yeah, for sure, all day.
Yeah. So I'd rather underestimate and over deliver than say, oh, it's going to be this and going to be that, because when you get to the starting stripe, the bullshit stops right there.
Oh, what did you say before? Everyone's got a 12-second car until they go to the strip, the 13-second car.
Yeah, maybe 14.
Yeah,
sometimes 15. Yeah. The bullshit stops.
Sometimes 15. No.
I was in Ontario, and my Mustang that I have that I broke on multiple occasions. The only car I ever broke, by the way. I drag race for years, and I never broke a goddamn thing. This thing, oh man! But I was at the Silvas, and I got it dynoed and got it straightened out because I bought the car in Ontario, and it had a SQ supercharger on that 4.6, and it made 300 horsepower on their dyno, and but they had a nice, beautiful shop. Like it would rival Nick's garage shop. So you drive in, the rollers are right there at the big doors, and right in front of the rollers it says the bullshit stops here. Can you hear me, or is there a little delay there?
Well, how much boost were you putting through that?
The first time I dynoed it, I put 7 pounds.
Yeah, we had a little delay. How much boost were you putting through that?
The first time I dynoed it, I had 7 pounds on it. It made 300 horsepower and 300 pound-feet of torque. The second time I had it in the rollers, I had 12 pounds. And I run out of fuel at 450 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. So I got a fuel booster, and I was running at air. My mass airflow sensor was run at air. So after that, I put 18 pounds to it with the fuel booster, the booster pump, and so it made 523 horsepower to the rear tires, and she puked the head gaskets out.
Holy whistling!
So I was getting greedy, but it was making some power. I wish I had some video of that dyno, because when she was on the dyno and when he hit it, the whole fucking car nearly jumped off the dyno because it was making that much more power. It was like it was a lot.
Boost is addictive, man. You get like 10 pounds in there and you're like, holy shit, wow, that's amazing. And then you're like, well, I wonder what 14's like. So you try that, and eventually you're going to find the limit. Like, I mean, I guess when you look at it, it's spitting a head gasket out. It's a lot easier, a lot better than like breaking a piston or sending a rod through the block.
Yeah, because I put windows and blocks with that 12 pounds. Because, well, when I switched the first time I blew it up, I put the 12-pound pulley on it, and it was supposed to have forged rods, and it was supposed to have
the parity pulley.
Yeah, so I put the parity pulley on, and took her for a drive down the road just with the initial baseline tune in it, and she threw the rods right out of the block. It was two windows she put in the so. But man, it was nice. It was a lot, right? So then I put a forged rotating assembly together and just put all that back together. And when I took it back, with the good parts in it, it made 450 to the rear tires. And then I broke it again, being greedy. And I do have an engine
like Boost to discover.
Oh Jesus! So I have another engine that I had in it for a short spell. It came from Engine Masters. It was an engine. It finished third place for its class. And what the hell's the name of the place? Because they had that engine on display at PRI. It was actually on the cover of Popular Hot Rod. That engine, naturally aspirated. It made
crazy.
Nearly 500 horsepower in the dyno sheet that I got for the magazine, naturally aspirated.
Wow.
So
there you go.
And then I put 12 pounds of boost on
it. So what was the compression ratio of the thing when you put 12 pounds on it? Too high.
No, because when I bought the engine from Mark McCowan was the guy's name. He has a serious Ford program where he actually builds big inch 351 Cleveland blocks. So like his engines would come out around 600 cubic inches. The cams that are in this thing, he gave me the cam cards with it. They were all zeros on it because they were his grind. He owns the patent on the grind, right?
Yeah.
So it's all top secret shit. But so I got them cams and I got a bigger set of cams with it. But this guy was like super smart. I told him what I was doing with it, and he said, "Well, all engines operate under boost. Like sea level depends on where you're at. That's a level of boost." So he said,
"Yep,
doesn't matter how much compression the engine has. You're increasing the volume that you're putting in the cylinder, so it's not really increasing your compression ratio." So, and he was right because the engine worked like a champ. And as much power as that thing had when it had the 520 horsepower, it didn't even feel like the same engine when I had that McCowan engine. And it was, I tell you, the car had drag radials on it in fourth gear under a light load, like 1500 RPM. I put my foot into it, she'd start smoking the drag radials.
Yeah, it's just an air pump, right? And it's the more you can get in, the more you can burn, the more you can get out, the more power it's going to make. But the like we were saying, the the thing that's the cider of the whole like octane to support that. That's the big issue, right? Detonation, like you know, is a killer of engines, right? Yeah.
So when I
that's
took that engine out
because I thought it was you and I can afford.
Yeah, I can't afford the champagne fuel. I can't even afford the stuff that you get at the airport. Not a $2 a liter, anyways. So when I took that engine out because that was knocking, and it wasn't knocking, the flywheel bolts, the Loctite didn't hold the flywheel bolts, so the flywheel bolts were starting to back off. So when I pulled the engine apart, it was I took it out. It was a good thing I took it out, because if I was out in the garage, I'd go grab one of the pistons. But the piston, where the pin is at, this is a 11 3-to-1 piston or compression engine, and it had 12 pounds of boost on it, and there wasn't a bit of detonation in it. Like there was no detonation on the pistons whatsoever. But the pins, now them pins were rated for, there were 800 horsepower pistons. There were probe forged pistons that had an 800 horsepower rating on them. The pins, all around the pins, they were all stress cracked. All 8 pistons were cracked. So it was ready to come apart. So I don't know what kind of power I was making, but she was breaking up 800 pistons that were rated for 800 horsepower.
So there must have been a little bit of a shove on the crankshaft then, I'm thinking.
Well,
yeah,
it was a well-built engine. It was like the block was brand new from Ford, and he had all. I know, because this engine was competing at Engine Masters. The cylinder heads were donated. Actually, I got the cylinder heads right here. See if I can grab one real quick.
Right on. Yeah, guys. So after this podcast, this guy's garage there, go check out his channel. Pretty cool stuff going on over there. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But they're trick flow heads.
Yeah.
And humongous camshafts in it. And all solid roller. Now,
so maybe the head design then, Sean, had something to do with the lack of detonation too, right? Because I know roof designs and stuff like that, they fight detonation better because the quench area is right. So that might have had something to do with it. Did we lose him? You there, Sean? He must be off chasing other parts. Maybe he's trying to find something else to show us. But anyway, yeah, he's got a pretty cool lick there he's working on. It's got a big block Chevrolet engine in it, and it's its first basically strictly race type car. And go check it out. I'll put a link on his channel there. It looks like we might have lost him here, but he'll join again and I'll add him. But anyway, yeah. So it's cool to hear what other people are doing. I'd like to get a bunch of people on here for these streams. So if any of you guys want to hop on here with me some night, fire me on. I'd be more than happy to have you on here and talk about your project and whatnot, right? So he's got a 79 Malibu. He's got a Ford Cougar that he was racing. I don't know if he's still racing that car or not, but it's a pretty neat car as well. And like I said, he lives in the snow belt just 4 hours northeast of where I'm at, up in Cape Breton. And man, it snows where he is. It's incredible. Like the amount of snow they get up there. It's ridiculous. So in the wintertime here, there's not a whole lot to do. I mean, we do a few things on days that allows us to do it outside. But for the most part, it's just drink coffee and bullshit. Right. But anyway, we appreciate everyone coming on here. yeah, so yeah, so he's got some interesting stories. Sean Cadden does. He there's a bunch of people that he knows up there that have been running like rod shops and street shops for years. And he was telling me there, I was on his program. You'll see that he hosted a stream one night that I joined, and there was a bunch of people from Australia, and the stories that he was telling me was just incredible. So I'll put a link in the description and at the end of the video, and go check him out. It's called This Guy's Garage, and he's a friend of mine. Actually, they have what they call Hot August Nights. It's basically a collection of a whole pile of car show enthusiasts, like hot rodders. You'll see everything up there, from like 20s cars right up to all the muscle cars, the muscle trucks. You'll see just about anything that goes up there. And I think it's a 3 or 4 day event, but they hold it every year up in Cape Breton. And I'm going to try and get up there maybe this summer in late August. I think it's like the second or third weekend in August. But if I do, I'll take the camera up and show you guys everything up there. I'll do a couple of videos. We might even do a live podcast or something while we're up there. But any case, yeah, so that's pretty much it, I guess, for right now. I don't know where Sean is, if he's going to come back on. It doesn't look like he's going to call or quits. Thanks for coming. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting. Appreciate all you guys, and look forward to having another one of these. You guys join in on the chat here. Anytime we have these things, you have the option to. Oh, he's coming back. Hang on a second, guys. Yeah, it says be back in a sec. He just sent me a message there, so he must have had something come up there. So I'll keep blabbering until he comes back. But yeah, so. As I was saying in my video today, minus 28 was the temperature Celsius. Now, I don't know what that is for my American brethren in Fahrenheit. I'd have to go do a calculation. But any way you look at it, it's damn cold. It's too damn cold. And since I did that video about my pipes freezing, it's funny, they both unthawed to the point where they're working now. So I don't know whether they're split or anything like that. I don't imagine they are. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. They are, but I'm going to go in there tomorrow, pull the skirting off and crawl under, I guess, and just see what the carnage is under there, and then put some insulation on them or fix them or whatever we got to do to get them back and running. Because it really sucks, man, not being able to flush your toilet and having to put buckets of water in the damn thing in order to get it to flush. So I don't know, like a lot of but some of you don't too, because you're down in the southern states, or you're down further where it's warmer. The smart people, I like to call them. But anyway, what did Sean say here? Sorry, I pulled the plug when I put the head down. Yeah, so when he showing us the cylinder head there a minute ago, he put the head down, and he must have pulled the cord on his computer and it shut down on him or something there. So he's on his way back here. So let's just see here. I'll see if I can send him another invite. And you may not need it. Urinating your pants warms you at least 30 degrees. Yeah, it does. I can attest to that. Only problem is with that, if you urinate in your pants, is that when it freezes, you're colder than ever afterwards. So it's almost one of those things where you got to keep urinating. But anyway, that's an interesting point. Okay, here he is. Back here.
Sorry about that, boys and girls. I screwed up.
Sean, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I got you back. Right. Sockets and pipes.
I'm just looking in the chat, in the comments here. Anal penetrator, prostate needs fingering, or maybe he thinks that they need fingering. I don't.
He was telling me about how if you pee in your pants, it warms you up. That's Canadian folks up here, I guess.
Yeah. Is this a regular one of your regular viewers?
I've never seen this dude before. You know, it could be somebody pulling a prank on me because my brother has access to this, so he could be just doing something for us. Anything to discredit me, right? Yeah, probably. So what'd you do? You set the head down and then you pulled the cord on the computer?
Yeah, I pulled the extension cord. Yeah, so I don't keep the battery in the computer because I'm saving the battery. I don't know, this computer would be dead and I'll never charge the battery. So if I had the battery in it, it would at least lasted. But oh well, it happens. So you had what was it you had on a start stand there a couple of videos back? That was a nice piece. It was a stroker?
Yeah, it's a 408 stroker. Yeah, 351 Windsor stroked out to 408. That was a buddy of mine built that motor. He builds a lot of really hot engines. They're mostly Ford guys, but they'll build anything pretty much. He also he built a couple of 440 based Dodge or Chrysler strokers, and they were pretty wicked engines too. He's got a little run stand in the back, and he runs them out there.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be along that day with the video camera and shot when they were firing that thing up. That was like the second fire of that engine since it was new. So just checking it out, adjusting the valves, getting everything good. Right?
I'm of the mind that any time you can get something like that on video, post it because it's fun. It's fun.
Oh yeah, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So
and it's really nice when you're wearing headphones and you crank the volume up too. You can really you can almost feel the sucker, right? Yeah. Your teeth start to.
We're talking about them cylinder heads there, and the reason I bought the Cougar in the first place, I bought it 3 years ago. I bought that because it was a completely forged rotating assembly inside of it. Right, it had diamond pistons. It had H-beam rods. It has the forged crank in it, and there was a 4R70W transmission with a Circle D torque converter. And I bought that car for $2,000 with the intentions of scrapping it. And I drove it 3 years.
You got all that stuff for $2,000. Wow.
I had to fly to Sudbury, Ontario to get it, but I drove it home, and now. There was a little mini blog on this car, and the guy was bragging about all the horsepower that this car was making. And when I took it, and because I put nitrous on that car, so I had it dyno tuned. Well, I had it measured first and made 270 horsepower to the rear tires, which is pretty good for a small 4.6 with a. Sorry about the furnace is running here. So it's got a 1.6 liter. 1.6 liter supercharger on top of just a small Eaton supercharger. So it's a displacement supercharger rather than the centrifugal one. But so it made 270 horsepower on the first pull. My guy that dynos or tunes them, he got it up to 340 horsepower and 430 pound-feet of torque just in tuning alone, and put a 50 shot of nitrous on it, and it made 430 horsepower, and it made 530 pound-feet of torque.
Yes, sir.
So it was
wow.
But my intentions was to scrap that car, but it's after passing 2 motor vehicle inspections in Nova Scotia, and I haven't spent a dime on it. The car wants to live.
That's saying something, buddy. For any of you guys that don't know, the inspections here are just on the east side of being communist, pretty much.
They are communist,
especially since they went to 2-year motor vehicle inspections. They tightened up everything, right?
So who do you, there's a good topic: the 2-year motor vehicle inspection. Who did that benefit? The people that wrote the law.
Well, they say, but it really doesn't benefit us. All it does is make for stricter enforcement, stricter regulation, and higher enforcement fines if you get caught without one. And I don't really think personally it benefits us.
No, it doesn't. Well, a dealership amalgamation or community or whatever they have, what association. The Nova Scotia Dealership Association wrote that law. So a new vehicle gets a 3-year inspection, and any used vehicle, it's a 2-year inspection. So you let a vehicle go for 2 years without being looked at, it ain't fit for the road. So
especially here in Nova Scotia in the heart of Saltland.
So cui bono, who benefits? Well, if the car's not worth putting back on the road, what are you going to do? You're going to go buy a new one.
Yeah, that's what they want anyway.
Yeah,
that's the whole idea.
You got the 3-year inspection on the new one. Why do they have a 3-year inspection? Get you out of your 3-year bumper to bumper, because most people will try to get that extra month out of the inspection, right? So they.
Yep.
So who benefits? They benefit.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never even thought of that before.
Yeah, so that's the how and the why on that. Who's in the BTM Samson Black Knight? Apparently, it seems to be many TV shows. It was there's a side conversation going on there. I missed half of it. So
yeah, no, for sure. So, yeah, but it's just the fact that in order to do what I'm doing with this truck of mine, the only real way I could do it here in Nova Scotia is to basically classify it as an antique.
That's it.
Because once it's antique status, you can do whatever the hell you want to it, more or less, like within reason, as long as your insurance company's on board, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, if you were to take an old truck and try and get it tagged and licensed under the Nova Scotia Motor Vehicle Act and get it inspected every 2 years, I mean, you're shit out of luck, son, because they're going to say, well, okay, well, the thing's got side pipes on it. That's no good. It's got performance cam. That's no good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Didn't come with the factory. Well, they're not too sticky on the engine. Sorry, I think we I might over talked you. Sorry about that. But
no, that's all right. Go ahead.
They're mostly reasonable, but like when stuff starts to get radical, then they're going to give you problems, right? So that's where we had this little top 10 list here at the drag strip there about 3 years ago when I first bought the Cougar, and that's the thing. What is a street car, right? If you're going to say it needs to be licensed and inspected, well, then people are saying, well, will that really pass inspection? Well, that's the sort of stuff you get into. You really want to be, we'll call the motor vehicle inspector and see if these cars will pass inspection. There may be about 3 cars on that would pass. But it was
they're trying to make older vehicles like what I and you have compete or compare or come up to standards, and they're nothing of the sort. I mean, obviously you don't have airbags or even seatbelts in some earlier cars, 60s cars. It seems that it depends on what motor vehicle mechanic station you go to get the thing inspected, and what a mechanic is actually looking at it, how much she knows about the actual regulations as it pertains to your older car, right? He may say, no, you got to meet this, when in reality, you don't have to meet any of that. Like, for an example, I went in to get my truck inspected, and it had bullet mufflers on it, right? And they wouldn't pass it because he says, no, you can't have that round style muffler. You have to have a turbo style muffler, flat can type muffler.
I used to do inspections and nowhere's in the Motor Vehicle Act that stated what kind of muffler you had to have. If it came with cats, then it needed to have cats. But that's a whole different ball of wax. There was things he could have got you on because the truck never came with a V8 in the first place. But the type of muffler you have is not one of them.
Well, you know what? On that was when I got the truck. I did when I bought it in New Brunswick. The first thing I did when I registered it here in Nova Scotia is I registered it as a V8 truck. That was the very first thing I did. And she had trouble with it. She couldn't find it in the database, right? And I said, no, it's the V8. And she goes, what size engine is it? I said, it's a 5-liter. And that's how it's registered as. So when I got the paperwork for Nova Scotia, it was registered as a V8. So,
and you can do that. Most people, there's a little bit of a hiccup you got to go around to get it done, but it is in your best interest, especially like for insurance wise and stuff like that. Like, well, you got paperwork. Because if you don't have paperwork, then it's modified. And I think the rules.
Well, I feel bad for these guys in California that have to pass smog. Like, none of our stuff would probably pass as far as that goes. Like, you stick a sniffer up the tailpipe of my truck, it'd be probably as dirty as hell, right?
Yeah, no, my stuff, some of my stuff is fuel injected, so I think it would pass. Because that Cougar, there's 3 sets of mufflers on it, 2 sets of well, I call them mufflers, but there are 2 sets of cats and 1 set of mufflers. So, there's 6 mufflers on it. Other than that car would be much louder. But I think that car would pass emissions wherever it was at. But, like the 502, you're not going to get that to pass emissions. Although they don't use the rolling road anymore for emissions. So they use the car's computer.
No, I don't think they do. Yeah.
So there's an onboard test. That's how Volkswagen got in trouble, because they were cheating. Remember the diesel scandal?
Well, I think in Ontario now, I think in Ontario now, all diesel trucks got to go through an emissions process. They got to be have a CO2 device put in the exhaust to measure it, and they have to pass a certain level. And there may even be a decibel rating they have, but that's an Ottawa or an Ontario, right?
And I was looking at a diesel truck there because I was having so much trouble with my F-150 there, and you got to buy DEF fluid for that. So what's the point? You couldn't possibly save enough money in fuel. The warrant having a diesel, and it costs you $10,000 more to buy the diesel.
Well, diesels are great if you're hauling if you're hauling big loads and stuff. I mean, really, it's the way to go. But it costs you just a fortune just to maintain it. I had an F350 with a 6-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel, and it cost me $200 and something a month just to do the oil changes on the damn thing, and to maintain it properly, right?
I had a 14 F-150, and I got a good deal on it when the EcoBoost trucks, when they first come out. So I had the programmer left over from the Mustang from when I was at the Silvas, because the guy that tunes my car in Moncton now, he uses Sniper software, so I had a spare tuner left. So I programmed my EcoBoost truck. That truck went 1290 in the quarter mile at 99 miles an hour.
Oh yeah,
it went 99 miles an hour because I forgot to turn up the mile an hour thing on the tune. But 1290, it was a 4-door full size pickup. That's an 8,000-pound truck.
Yeah. Well, diesel trucks make tons of power, man. I mean, the torque is just it's unreal. And there's lots of trucks in Alberta that they're at 1,000 horsepower, right? Pickup trucks, Silverados and stuff. There's all kinds of them.
So I have the slide rule.
Like you said, it's just defeating the stock computer.
Yeah. It's so they're capable of making way more power. Like when you see these shows like Trucks and that, we put this exhaust on and we put that on, but the exhaust didn't do nothing. It was the programmer that made all the horsepower, but they're trying to sell you this package of things that you need, like the airbox, this and that. Like the guy that tunes my car, he says, whatever you put on, what you like for exhaust, because he said, I've seen them all. None of them make a difference as far as horsepower goes, unless you're going up dramatically in size.
Oh yeah, like if you have an 8-inch exhaust, you could stick a whole grown Chihuahua in there, which I've seen in Alberta a bunch of times, right?
Mm-hmm.
This big diesel, a baseball or a soccer ball in the damn exhaust.
Yeah, no, you got the big 6-8 inch exhaust. It's well, they can move so much air. Joe Canadian, he from Ontario.
No, he's actually my cousin.
Oh,
he's from Nova Scotia here. I think Joe, you live in Amherst, don't you? Yeah, he's my cousin. Yeah.
The hometown of I'm just seeing who's in the chats here. Just didn't want to leave anybody out, but
DIY Misfit Mechanic. Hey man, thanks for coming on.
DIY Misfit. Good to see you. I don't actually have Tim Hortons in this cup.
Thanks for coming on. Is that one of those plastic ones where you refill it? But it looks like you got the genuine article.
No, it's a paper cup.
Oh yeah, no, it is the real deal. Yeah.
you can reuse them 2 or 3 times over again, and they generally don't. But after 3 times, the side comes out.
I don't like the new lids. So the new lids suck, man. I wish they'd bring them back.
Do you remember there a couple of years ago? I was up in Ontario when they came out with the new lid the last time, which I couldn't see any difference between the new lid and the old lid. But McDonald's was after coming out with their new coffee, and their cups are McDonald's. We're talking about coffee cups now, but McDonald's has a beautiful coffee cup, a beautiful lid.
Oh yeah, man.
They make a beautiful cup of coffee.
You club baby seals with the friggin' with the McDonald's cup.
Double layered.
They're so much better.
Oh, it's a much better cup, and it's a better cup of coffee. So, what projects you got on?
I like their coffee better anyway, man.
Me too. Yeah, I would take a Tim Hortons over.
Just surviving the damn winter is my main project. But other than the Ranger, it's a little bit of motorcycle work here and there. Snowblower repair. Unfortunately, I had a broken governor spring on my damn snowblower, so I had to fix that.
I wish we're a little closer. I'd love to go do like a competition with another channel. Say you pick up $100 car and just souped enough, see how fast you can make it go with just pure will.
Yeah,
pure will. And
spend nothing on it.
Spend nothing on it. Yeah, leave it at the track when you're done.
Well, my cousin Joe would be up for that. I know he would be. That sounds like his cup of tea. Yeah, Joe had a pretty cool F-150, an older Ford. What was it, Joe? 78, 79? Pretty nice truck. He bought out in Alberta. He drove it all the way back to Nova Scotia from Calgary or whatever.
I love them trucks.
I think it had a 400 in it. Yeah. Passed everything but a gas station, Joe?
70 saying.
I drove a motorhome. When I came back from Alberta, I drove a 1981 Ford Chateau, which is like the king of the line motorhome with a 460 Ford gas engine. And she was loaded right to the nuts with everything I own, tools and everything else. And I went all the way from Red Deer to Charlottetown, PEI. And I figured out all my gas receipts and I averaged it out. It got 8.6 miles per gallon. And I spent $2,840 in fuel, which I guess wasn't too overly bad. And the reason I did that is because I kept it at 55 miles an hour. I didn't push it too hard, right? Just let her do her thing.
Did you see the motorhome video I did? That was the very first video that I did when I came on YouTube. Did you see that one, Sean?
Yeah, I might have. I might have seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I bought it in Montreal and I drove it home. I flew up to Montreal and drove it home.
That's right.
And I had all the trouble on the way home with it, but I put $300 worth of gas in that coming home from Montreal, and there's still gas in it. There's still almost.
Wow.
the little crazy. 350 in it.
Yeah, what was in that thing again?
350.
350, yeah.
Yeah. And man, it was the U-joint went in it when I was at the Quebec New Brunswick border there in Edmonton. So I put a U-joint in it there. And man, I started flying down the road. I was doing 65, 70 miles an hour. I was just outside of Moncton.
Yeah.
The clutch fan came apart and it went through the radiator, went through. It was like, I was, oh my God, what a mess. So it took me 3 days to get back together in Moncton. And my buddy that has the dyno shop, he was good enough to let me take it there and work on it there. And you know, just trying to dig up parts to put it back together to limp it home. I called it a field repair because it was like, Jesus. And I was contemplating putting an LS in it because, man, I had a hard time getting a fan, just, you know, a clutch fan.
Okay, so here's the $100 motorhome competition. So you can build the fastest and most reliable motorhome for $100. That'd be awesome. You know, find motorhomes and just kind of like small race them or cone race them or something. I'm sure everybody wants to see that.
I gotta use this one. I can't destroy it, but it would be in the running. I think I paid $300 or $400 for it, but it was
yeah, my dad's got an old one too. It's like an 85 Chev motorhome, like a 20-footer. That's got a 350 gas engine in it. Nothing, you can't kill that son of a bitch. He leaves it with fuel in it. He friggin' overheats it. You can't kill it. He's tried. He's tried to kill it. You can't do her.
There was that kind of reminds me of a funny story. Used to have a little scrapyard at my dad's place there. So I got this S10 truck that was smashed, and they ended up giving me the truck for the tow call, and I got sick of moving around the yard. So anyways, I parked there. I go out every day and I'd start it up and hold it to the boards until it quit running. I did this every day for a week, and I just can't kill this thing. So
Italian tune-up.
Yeah, I got bored with it. So, but 2 months later, somebody called looking for an oil pan out of an S10. I said, I got one. So I went through all the work, pulling the engine out, turned the engine upside down. Well, it was after throwing a rod. This thing started up on the day that I pulled the engine out. It threw a rod through the oil pan. So I went through all the work of taking the engine out to get the oil pan off, and there was a hole in it. So that's how tough them old 2.0 S10s were.
Oh man, holy shit, eh? You know, the problem with those motorhome problem with mine is that it's right. It was like 74,000 kilometers. I think that's right around 49,000 or 40-some thousand miles. But anyway, it sat so long that the transmission, when we took the pan off the bottom of it, all that was in there was the clutch material. It just sat too long. So I took the C6 out of it and I yarded it at Red Deer to get it rebuilt, and they put a cheapo rebuild kit in it before I even considered taking it across Canada, because I think it wouldn't shift at a second. It was holding second gear, and it was like rough shifting, like it almost put you through the windshield when it shifted into high range. But anyway, I had to fix it because it just sat forever, and like that's what's wrong with most motorhomes. Those older ones is they sit too long, right?
They sit way too long, and well, like this one that I bought, it was a Canadian built one. It's a Flurry. It looks the same as it does coming or as it does go, and it's a square box. I mean, the guy that designed the box had no imagination. It's all he had was a ruler, and he traced it, and that's that was the motor.
Made it out of cardboard first, probably made a big square box.
But it's all tube steel construction. It's crazy. I wonder if I can look up the steel structure on it. Just 1 second.
Heavy as hell too, probably. You know, but believe it or not, that old Chateau, She was loaded. She had air cruise control. It had really comfortable seats in it. I had my hound dog in the passenger front seat. It had one of those captain's chairs that swings around, and he was loving it.
Right.
Had the armrests out. You know, the only thing he needed was his shades and his beer, and he would be perfectly happy. But the thing drove like straight as a rule. He's like one finger steering, pretty much, right? Like really easy to drive.
I'm gonna do a screen share here in a second. Can you see this?
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh,
you can do that.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah. So this is all steel substructure, and you know, like you say,
you can't see it. Yeah. Did you share it?
Can you see it now? Can you still see it?
No.
Let me see here. Okay. Oh, just 1 second. Okay.
Yeah, because where you're gonna DIY Misfit Mechanics says where you're gonna get a motorhome for $100. Well, there's a will, there's a way. There might be a case of beer involved in that transaction, but figure it out. Okay, there it is. There. Is this what you're looking at?
Okay,
so she's loading here.
Yeah. Okay. Do you see it?
No. Oh, now I do. What am I looking at?
Go back. This is basically I think this is 2 years older than mine, but mine would be more like this one here. Mine would be exactly like that one, actually.
Can't see much anything. Try it again.
Let me see here. Let me see here. Okay, I don't want to hit the
disconnect
share. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. See that?
I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. No.
Let me see here. I'm trying to see what's on the. Okay, so it's just you there now.
Yeah, it's split screen.
Okay. Okay, I'm trying to. Okay, it's. Okay.
I think it's going into another hole. It's almost like you're coming into the broadcast again, like twice.
Okay, try this.
Okay, wait a minute. I had it there. Let's see. There we go. Okay, got her now. Yeah, it's like a bread box on wheels, man. It's a square, the square deal.
Okay, I can see.
I remember seeing lots of these things when I was a kid. 18-foot 1976 GMRV.
Yeah, and this is a factory. Like this is why I bought it here. If you can see this here.
Holy shit! Yeah, look at the metal on that sucker.
Yes, that was the whole reason I bought it.
That's all square tube.
That's all square tube. And I tell you, I never drove a tighter motorhome on the road. This is actually mine right here.
If it had a chassis like that on it, she wouldn't move too much.
Yeah, this is my actual.
I like the mustache.
Right, you like the mustache on it, and it's a P30 chassis.
That's awesome.
And there's the Saskatoon Library actually put these pictures up for me online, so I could see what it looked like when it was.
That's crazy. Wow, look at that.
Crazy, eh?
They're actually making them. They're building them.
Yeah, and this thing was built in Saskatchewan, genuine Saskatchewan sealskin bindings. You know, everything was. Anyways, that's enough old motorhome talk. But that's my old
That's
my
cool.
old bomb that I. Perfect. Oh, that went smoother than I thought.
Right on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think I'm going to end the broadcast and just hang
we've been
on,
running
Sean.
for a little
I'll say
over an
goodnight
hour
to
now.
everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for coming in, everybody.
So anyway, you guys check this. Yeah, thanks a lot. Check this video out. I'll put a link to this guy's garage YouTube channel. Go on over, check him out, give him some love. And thanks for coming. We'll see you soon. Every Sunday, normally I stream at 8 o'clock, between 8 and 9.
And if so,
we'll be on again. So
this time works fantastic. So if you need me to jump on with you, this is a great time because it's pretty easy to
just go later like we did tonight.
Sounds good.
Yeah, for me,
that's as good a place to sign off as anybody. Or have a good one. Thanks for coming in.
Thumbs up for War Amps.
Oh yeah.